Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green. Tim Hankewich from Orchestra Iowa joins us. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
We are kind of on the backside of the 100th anniversary. I can't believe it.
No rest for the wicked. It seems so close to the end of our season, but yet it is so very far. Yes.
I say I can't believe it because the year's gone so fast, and Tim is going,
my God.
It's been forever.
It's been a tough year. It's been a tough year because it's been so full of great things, and being our 100th anniversary, it's been busier than usual. But yes, we are on the downhill run.
You had a great big time at your gala a couple of weeks ago.
Wonderful.
I heard that went really well.
A wonderful successful gala. Thank you to our community for supporting your orchestra. It was clear that you love them and they love you back.
And now, a little bit of a different avenue for the orchestra. I've been focused on this one for a while.
I'm glad
because I am not hugely familiar with the Mambo Kings at all, except to know that they're a great Cubano
group.
Cuban band. And what was the impetus behind adding the Mambo Kings to your 100th season?
Yeah, so when we were putting this season together, I wanted something to catch your eye, and clearly it did. Because it's so different than what you would expect from us. I mean, we've in the past have done Broadway, or we've done 80s rock and roll band
Queen,
tributes,
the Beatles,
or film with music, which is all great, all fun. But this was something I just wanted a little bit more fun, and also it's a completely different avenue for the orchestra. So, sometimes orchestras tend to just poo-poo pops, because, we study the masterworks, quote unquote. And yet you can also inform and develop the skills of your orchestra depending on the music you play.
Well, and not to accuse anyone of anything, but part of that, we only study the masters. That is, we are beginning to understand that is way more of a racist concept than I think any of us realized. By saying only European white guys are the only masters.
And that is changing, not only in Orchestra Iowa, but in the industry at large. And we're playing a lot more world music, and that's actually to our own benefit and to the skill set that are required of the next generation of musicians. For example, rhythm with Latino popular music is so much more complex than what I as a student studied in conservatory. And so what makes Cubano music so exciting is the way they use the rhythm. And so this is a bit of a stretch for me personally. You and I have talked offline a lot. I mean, I can talk pop culture musically. Of course, my specialty is classical symphonic music. I can also talk North American jazz. But once we go south of the border, this is kind of a new world for me and a new world for the orchestra.
As a Canadian growing, of course, there was a lot more cultural exchange between Canada and Cuba.
Yes.
Through the days of the embargo. Did any of that reach up into your neck of the woods?
Not in my neck of the woods. You have to remember, I grew up in far northern Canada. I mean, a good 19-hour drive north of the border of the 48th parallel. And I remember, of course, seeing I Love Lucy, but that's such a caricature, so the answer is no. Even though Canadians could travel to Cuba, my family sadly could not. So my own personal connection and exposure to this music was extremely limited.
The Mambo Kings, it's Havana Nights with the orchestra.
It's fun.
This is going to be really. So tell me a little bit about the music and about preparing the orchestra for this, because these are, as you said, some rhythms, and not just in the rhythm section, not just in the percussion section, but your string players and your horn players are.
You're going to see a lot of the whites in their eyes when they look at the music. It's really cool. So the Mambo Kings are also being accompanied by or included in their ensemble is Camila Zamora, a wonderful singer, and she's going to be performing on the first half. And so the first half is kind of more like old school Spanish and Latino music. Some old arias from some Argentine and Spanish composers, a lot of zapateados, some mambos, malambos, tangos, cha-chas, but it's more like 1950, pre-1950 kind of music. So it's a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Sentimental or reminiscent of the past. And then, of course, the second half, when the Mambo Kings join up, it's a much more contemporary overview of music from Latin America. Things like they end the show with their own version of Day Tripper, actually, which is really neat. To combine popular culture of the Beatles and then putting on their own special spin on it, and it's really fantastic. It just makes me smile listening to it.
How much time will the orchestra have with the guest artists?
One rehearsal.
One rehearsal.
One rehearsal. Yeah, yeah. You see, people who are actually looking at the video of our interview, see all this empty skin on my head. There's a reason why I've been losing my hair over the years. Yeah, these programs come together extremely quickly. It puts extra pressure on me to prepare as well as the orchestra, but that's just part of the the expectation. That's
part of being a professional orchestra.
Yeah.
A rehearsal is not a practice.
Yes, and we also have music by Tito Puentes. Oye Como Va is so to be part of the play set, as well as a lot of other great standards that I think a lot of people, even those who aren't steeped in this tradition, when they hear it, they go, "Oh, right, I know this piece."
Well, we just had Orquesta Alta Maíz as the headliner for our Taste of Jazz event, and in interviews that I've had over the last couple of weeks with founders Ed East and Jim Dreyer, we talked a lot about Latin music in our little corner of Iowa, because 40 years ago, when the salsa band came together, no one knew anything about Latin music, and now we are a little bit of a hotbed, and largely that is due to the orquesta being such a huge part of our culture and introducing all of us to salsa and tango and Latin jazz, and all of that. And I should mention too, continues to be a big Latin week, because as a little warm up for the concert this weekend, we've got Jim Dreyer and his Latin Jazz Ensemble Reunion Band performing First Friday Jazz. So,
there's something in the air. It could be Cinco de Mayo, perhaps. But actually, in our case, though, I mean, it was actually serendipitous. They were available around this time. We hired them, and then it was after our brochure went to print. We thought, oh my goodness. It actually happened. It was serendipitous that it came around the 5th of May. So
you were lucky, because if the management company would have figured that out, they probably would have increased the price.
Tripled it. Yeah, of course. But no, we lucked out, and it's going to be such fun. And I hope people will actually get up and do a little dancing. Actually, that'll be really terrific.
Well, this is, as I said, this is one I've been looking forward to all year.
Same here.
Because there is it's always a treat. It's and it's a little stressful on your point of view, but it's always a treat to see the orchestra stretch and do something that they don't do every day, and this is certainly that.
And we have done our job. You don't need to know that it was challenging for the orchestra. If you show up and you enjoy the concert, which you will, and we do our job, it'll sound as though we've been playing this music for decades.
It's Orchestra Iowa in concert this weekend. How many shows? I don't even know.
Just the one.
Just the one Saturday night.
Saturday night, yes.
All right. Well, it's a big show.
It is. It's wonderful.
You can't travel. This one won't travel very well. So one performance only, Paramount Theater, Saturday night, the Mambo Kings and Camila Zamora in concert with Orchestra Iowa. Tickets at
orchestraiowa.org or artsiowa.com.
Well, Paramount Theater is a great place to hear any kind of music, and I would argue it's a great place to hear some Latin rhythms this weekend. Have fun with it, Tim.
I can't wait. Thank you so much.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:30, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or using your favorite podcast player. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.